Hello and welcome back to Adaptation, the ultimate vlog for film adaptations and the original material they're based on. I'm Jessica Dunn, and we are doing another of our Dreamcast videos. Now, these are my favorite types of vlogs, because in the next few minutes, anything is possible. This week, we'll be Dreamcasting the 2015 Costa Award-winning book, The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge. This is only the second young adult book to ever win the Costa Award since like 1990, so it tells you how awesome this book is. It tells the story of Faith Sunderly, a 14-year-old girl in Victorian-era England whose ambition is to follow in her father's footsteps and study natural science. Of course, this is male-dominated England, a very patriarchal society, so she is forced to shoulder the restrictions imposed upon her because of her gender. When her father dies in mysterious circumstances, Faith sets out to prove that her father was murdered. And in so doing, she also discovers her father's deepest, darkest secret, a small tree that thrives on lies and bears fruit to reveal the truth. A film of this book would be a dream come true. It's wondrously clever and deliciously creepy, and would be amazing if brought to life on screen. However, in the absence of any film rumors so far, we'll just have to make one of our own imagination. First off, I'm going to make an unprecedented start to this Dreamcast and claim that Tim Burton would make a fantastic director for this film. We've never really done this before. Singling out a director, we usually stick to the characters and the actors. But this book was made for the Burtonish atmosphere and creepy peculiarity. However, I have drawn the line at casting Helena Bonham Carter or Johnny Depp for any of the actual character roles. And for this, I hope Mr. Burton will forgive me. So moving on to the main show. For our clever, secretive main character, Faith, I've cast Raffi Cassidy, who is a young British actress who recently starred as young Snow White in Snow White and the Huntsman. I thought she showed promise in that role, and also I just really like the sharpness and the cleverness in her facial expression. I think she could pull off the demure, obedient Victorian lady vibe that Faith uses to deceive everyone while she's spreading her lie tree lies. To play Faith's father, Reverend Erasmus Thunderly, I've cast Richard Armitage, who's most well known as playing Thorin in the Hobbit films. He also played John Thornton in the BBC miniseries North and South, and it is for this reason that I cast him as the Reverend, because the characters are actually really similar. Like Thornton, the Reverend is strict and demanding and can be abrasive at times, yet he instills this odd loyalty in his family. I also think Richard Armitage can convey just the right amount of brooding arrogance to bring the Reverend to life and death on the screen, and also make viewers yearn to find out what happened to him, without feeling the need to mourn him too much. Here's where we get into an interesting conundrum with Dreamcasting this title. The Lie Tree is, at the heart of it, a murder mystery, so I could inadvertently reveal whodunit just by who I choose to cast. Obviously, you know Faith isn't the culprit, and the Reverend, well, his corpse kind of speaks for itself. But from this point on, consider this a list of the likely suspects. In this book, Faith's mother, Myrtle, is described as small and feminine, yet also a bit flaky and a bit flirty. However, it's revealed that beneath that coquettish Victorian housewife exterior lurks a calculating mind that knows exactly how to use her womanly wiles to get what she wants. So, who did I cast for this interesting role? Jenna Coleman, who you may recognize as Claire Oswald from Doctor Who, or more recently played Queen Victoria in the TV miniseries Victoria. I've been back and forth about this actress in some of her roles, but for the most part, I cannot deny that she has the range to play the different facets of Myrtle's character. You know, I feel like I should mention here that every character in this book, and therefore every actor that I'm casting, should have an underlying sense of secrecy and, in some cases, menace. Take our next suspect, Uncle Miles, who is Myrtle's brother. He's threatening and suspicious in his own way, yet he's mostly characterized by his constant attempts to ride on his brother-in-law's fame and scientific advancements, having not been able to achieve anything on his own. So for this role, I chose Gary Oldman, because he has such acting chops that he could really represent Uncle Miles' two-faced character. To be inept and eager for recognition in 1 minute, and underhanded the next. Partway through the book, Faith acquires an accomplice of some sort in Paul Clay, a local boy who has an affinity for doctoring photographs. Without his assistance, she would never be able to make so many people believe her falsehoods. She never completely confides in him, however, because she's not entirely sure he can be trusted. And for this reason, I've cast Robbie Kay to play him. He played evil Peter Pan in Once Upon a Time, so he's able to convey just the right amount of mischief for Paul. Next we have Mr. Lambent, in my mind, played by Michael Sheen. He's a leader in the community, the sponsor of the archaeological dig that brings the Reverend and his family to the area. He also has political ambitions, though it's revealed later in the book that he's not really the driving force to success that he initially appears. For the woman behind the curtain, or at least the woman behind Mr. Lambent's real achievements, Agatha Lambent, his delicate wife. She's the embodiment of the book's themes about the apparent limitations of women in Victorian society. And for the face of such an interesting character, guys, I'm so excited about this casting. Picture Amanda Abbington. She played Mary Morstan Watson in Sherlock and absolutely rocked it. This actress could bring just the right amount of duplicity and shrewdness to the role, hiding behind the facade of the retiring married woman. To play Jean the Vengeful Housemaid, I've cast Imogen Poots. She's a British actress who's gotten quite a bit of traction in the last few years, but I've cast her for the main reason that she played Blanche Ingram in the 2011 version of Jane Eyre. Enough said. That character, this character, it's a perfect match. Sticking to the women's club, I've cast Olivia Colman to play Miss Hunter. She's known as the gossipy spinster in the community, but as with all the other complex female characters in this book, there's more to her than meets the eye, and her truths are among those targeted by Faith in her quest for justice. We only have a handful of characters left to cast, so I'm just gonna spitfire them right here. For Ben Crock, the foreman of the archaeological dig, I've cast Jaime Lannister. No, I've cast Nikolaj Coster-Waldau of Game of Thrones fame. And the town doctor and professed craniologist, Dr. Jacklers, could be played by yet another Game of Thrones star, Ian Glenn, who played Jorah. And finally, our last casting. I couldn't resist. For Mr. Clay, who is the photographer and Paul's father, I've cast Jason Isaacs. Though I can't quite decide yet whether his portrayal should be more Mr. Darling or Lucius Malfoy. But I guess that's the beauty of this book. Could be anything, and we know Jason Isaacs can do either. So that's it. I know, this list has been rather longer than usual, but hopefully it has served its purpose and you are left as ignorant of the murderer as you were 5 minutes ago. I mean, if you've already read the book, there's no worries there, and if you haven't, what are you still doing here? Pick it up now. It's awesome. If you have any thoughts about our castings or would like to suggest some of your own, we'd love to hear from you in the comments section. Also, make sure to check out our social media pages, and we have a podcast on iTunes. Thanks for tuning into Adaptation, and until next time, beware of the truth. I don't know how to end this. Why do I try?